When children are removed from a home because of abuse or neglect, they need a mentor, a friend, a constant in their upturned life. This is where the Guardian Ad Litem program excels, and they need volunteers. Learn more about what they do and how to become involved in this episode of Polk Place. Welcome to Polk Place. I'm your host, Jeremy Morady, and here with me is Diane Schmeltz from the Guardian Ad Litem program for the 10th Judicial Circuit for Polk, Highlands, and Hardy County.
Exactly.
Thanks so much for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
So, well, I know you guys, run an incredible program that reaches so many children, and I know you guys need a lot of help too, and you rely on volunteers primarily for what you guys do in helping those children. So if you can, tell me a little bit about what it is the Guardian Ad Litem program does and what exactly you guys are looking for from volunteers.
Great, love it. We need volunteers. We have almost 1,500 children in this circuit that have been removed from their homes because they've been abused or neglected. So we don't investigate and we don't remove the children. The Department of Children and Families does that. But if they feel these kids are at risk, something's going on, they remove the children. A judge actually appoints the Guardian Ad Litem program. And our role, we've got a couple dual roles. One is we gather information. So we talk to the children, we talk to teachers and doctors, their parents, their caregiver. Maybe they're with a foster parent. Maybe they're with a grandma or an aunt or an uncle. Maybe they're with a friend. We gather information from all sources, and then our volunteers work as part of a team with our professional staff coordinators and our attorneys to figure out, based on all the information we've gathered, all the observations we've made from visiting the kids, what is best for the children. And we actually then go into court and we tell the judge about every 4 months what we feel is in the children's best interest. The judges look to us to be neutral. We have no other agenda going on. Our focus is just the children. So while the volunteers are doing that, they become maybe the one and only consistent person in that child's life through nobody's fault. Placements change. Kids change school. Sometimes maybe they're with a grandma and grandma gets sick and now they have to go into foster care. In foster care, maybe 3 and 4 siblings are going to be separated from each other. So it's very, very scary for the children, and they're the victims. So to have an adult that keeps visiting and they know, wow, I matter. I matter to somebody. Somebody knows what's going on, is tremendous. Sometimes these kids, especially the older ones, are going to push us away before they attach because they're kind of guarding themselves. I'm afraid
they've already been through so much.
They've been through so much, yeah. And it's kind of like, boy, before I attach to you, I'm going to push you away because everyone else has walked away, and I don't know who to trust anymore. My mom and dad let me down. Drugs are a huge issue here in this county. If we can help correct the problems, if mom and dad can accomplish the tasks the court is asking them to do to get their kids back, wonderful. Let's reunite them. We know parents love kids. We know kids love mommy and daddy. But while we're watching and waiting to see if that's going to be a possibility, to have an adult in your life that you know you matter, that makes a world of difference to these kids. Really does. We just went over 700 volunteers, and they're child advocates. They really are, because boy, they're on the front line. They're out there. A lot of people think, oh, I couldn't do this. I'll get way too emotional. We lose people because it's frustrating. It's the system. It's slow. It's flawed. We got a lot of legalese to work around. But while we're going through that, while the kids are going through that, boy, if we can be there by their side, that's huge. I just went to a conference that Southeastern had this past weekend, and it was all about absentee fathers. And on the panel, they had men that didn't grow up with any male role model in their life. And the one guy who's in his mid-20s now, he said, I didn't have a man to even teach me how to tie a tie. And I thought, wow, he is in his mid-20s, and that's something he remembers. Stuff that to us we think, oh, I wouldn't even think that would have been an issue. There are bigger issues. But for these kids, the simple little things. So besides needing people to say, hey, I can give 6 or 7 hours a month. We especially need men.
Sure.
We need men that say, I will be a male role model for these kids. The boys need it, the girls need it too. They don't know what a good dad looks like. They don't know what a good husband looks like.
Well, in those 700 volunteers, are the majority women
Yes.
at this point? Okay.
We have about 18% men. And I totally understand in this day and age, if somebody accuses you of something, you know, oh boy, there goes my reputation, or I'm fighting for my reputation. We're very, very careful with all our volunteers. We're never going to put them in any kind of unsafe or even uncomfortable situation. And we're especially careful with our men.
Well, in these roles, in advocating for the children, when they get up there in the courtroom, what is it that they're telling the judge? What are these relationships that they're building to further them recovering from whatever they're going through?
Right. Well, with the children, we look at the whole picture. Like prom is coming up. So these kids want to be like their classmates. They want to go to prom. Some kids have never been to a dentist. They're 5 years old, they've never been to a dentist. So we not only look at the safety issues and what is happening, is reunification, are we on that track? Is that looking like it's going to work? We look at the whole child. How are they doing in school? Physically, how are they doing? Emotionally, how are they doing? Do we need to recommend maybe there's a psychological evaluation because we've seen major behavior turns? So we look at the whole child. We tell the judge what we feel is best for the children. We don't tell them what the kids want. That's not what our recommendation is, although we will always say to the judge, this little girl wants to go back to mommy. But we are recommending maybe she stay with grandma at the moment because mom hasn't done her parenting classes, maybe there are still drug issues. So we look at the whole picture to figure out at this moment in time what is best for the children. And the judge takes that very seriously. They very often will stop and say, what does the guardian ad litem think? Because they know it's just the focus of the children. And our guardians come from all walks of life. They've got GEDs right through doctorates and everything in between. We've got guardians that were children in the system. We've got guardians that maybe were in a bad situation, physically, emotionally. Boy, do they have insight. Teachers, medical profession, they are bringing so many gifts and talents and life lessons that if we can tap into the insight and understanding that they have, wow, we can't teach them that stuff.
Sure.
We can teach them how to do this, but boy, when they come with their own understanding, it's wonderful.
Well, with you guys looking for volunteers, I imagine this isn't something you just jump right into and, hey, I'm here, let's
right.
Show up with the judge. There's some training involved.
There is.
And can you go through a little bit about what that process is and how people can find out about that?
Sure. They can call. I would talk to them on the phone, give them a little bit more information. Sometimes people have an idea. They think, oh, I have to house the children. When you say guardian, they think more of 24/7. So I explain about the process. I explain that no one's angry with us because we didn't remove the children. Puts us in a great position to communicate, to maybe diffuse a little and really figure out what's going on. So we give them an application. There's an application process. We do about a 20-minute interview after that. They then are given homework to do. Half of our training is by watching some videos and reading some material. Then we bring them in for 2 4-hour classroom sessions in our office, either in Bartow or in Highlands or Hardy County, wherever they live. They go through the training, so they're sitting with other volunteers, and that's wonderful because you hear questions, so you think, oh, everybody's worried about the same things I'm worried about. And then we show some videos. We do some videos on interviewing. We don't ever interrogate kids. We want to make it more like a social visit. We have one volunteer that she's got a teenage girl, and every time this young lady betters her report card, the volunteer takes her for pedicures. And this young lady never had a pedicure. She said, all my friends get pedicures. So the guardian said, well, my kids, I always rewarded them for good report cards. So they're sitting in the chairs, their feet are being massaged, they're talking. It's more like a social thing, not that, oh, what am I saying?
More about the conversation.
Exactly, and getting to know them and being a friend,
Mm-hmm.
being a person they can learn to trust. So we show them some videos. little children, older children. Some people say, you know, give me the little kids. Teenagers scare me. Some people, God bless them, say, oh, give me those teens. I want to help get them on a better track. You know, if somebody doesn't intervene now, we could end up with their kids in the system. Boy, but if we can show them to finishing school and the importance of that, or going to a trade school, getting a job, you know, they need somebody to guide them. So we jump in and do that. The very last day of training, we actually take them to court. Our judges are wonderful. They open up their courtroom, they let us listen to hearings, and then the judge comes off the bench and talks to everybody, gives them some insight into his role and our role, and then does the oath and gets them sworn in.
Okay.
So it's a really, you can't say it's a good day in court because it is child abuse, but it's an enlightening day in court. We've had people say, wow, what I learned by reading it in the classroom just came alive in the courtroom. Then they come back and they meet with their coordinator. We wait for fingerprints to come back. There's no expense to anybody. We cover the charge for fingerprinting and for all of training. And as soon as their fingerprints are back, they're ready. They're ready to start on a case. And we look at, you know, where did they feel comfortable? You know, little ones, where are their gifts and talents? And they meet with their coordinator and they're off and running. They also will have another mentor, a volunteer that said, I remember those first few steps, you know, ooh, that first visit when I had to call grandma and go, that's a little scary. So we have volunteers that now mentor our new volunteers as they take those first few steps, going to grandma's, going to the school, writing their first report. They've got their coordinator, which is the staff person, and a volunteer that are alongside them to make it comfortable and get them, make sure we're giving them a real good start.
Excellent. Well, I know you guys, you know, you're looking for more volunteers. Majority are women, and you know, need more guys out there. But are there any particular areas in particular for Polk, Highlands, Hardee County? It's a big range that you're needing, you know, more in one particular area than others.
There is, and we are, I think we're the second or third largest circuit in the state, so we're a big range. We have just been told that abuse reports are on the rise. We've got almost 1,500 children, and they're on the rise, especially the eastern edge of Polk County. They said Auburndale, Haines City, Davenport, that area, I mean, even the edge of Kissimmee, that's still Polk County, they're just a huge need at that point because they're bringing investigators in because there are so many reports to cover. So we definitely need people, you know, we need them all over, but we especially need people that say, whoa, that's my backyard. You know, I'd be glad to do something there. We're very good too about, we've got couples that do this together. We've got sisters that do it together. If somebody wants to do it as a team, they feel, oh, safety and time, and time really isn't that much, and it's flexible. You do your visits when it works. But if people would rather do it as a team, call us. We're husband and wives, we've got sisters, we've got a father and a daughter that are doing it together. So that's great. We're able to do that. We have some people that say, I don't know that I can take a full case to start off, but if somebody's in a pinch, I could do monthly visits. You know, I could easily fit a monthly visit into my schedule. So we communicate. You work with us, we'll work with you, and we can make it work. More than 50% of our volunteers work full time. Okay. So you don't have to be retired or nothing else on your plate.
All right, excellent. So, well, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
We sure do appreciate it.
Yeah, can I give you the phone number for the office?
Definitely.
Okay, if anyone interested, they can call me. I'm Diane, and the office number is 863-534-2547, or they can just go to www.becomeaguardian.com. It's easy to remember.
Sounds
All
great.
right.
Thank
Great.
you.
Thank you.
If you want to make a difference in a child's life, consider volunteering for the Guardian Ad Litem program. This program reaches children in the 10th Judicial Circuit of Polk, Highlands, and Hardee counties. For more information on how to volunteer, call Diane, who just talked with us, at 863-534-2547, or on their website at becomeaguardian.com.